Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to the exciting installment of Darkness in Dublin. This evening's scene once again takes place at the Prince's Elysium, the Gaiety Theatre located just off St. Stephen's Green in the centre of Dublin's fair city. The kindred once again gather in order to discuss news of the day, interesting points of fact, and other more esoteric concerns that currently grip them, with Dublin Castle having been engulfed in flames. The presence of certain individuals within the city proper, many questions need to be answered and many things need to be contemplated. We will join them as they arrive. Tiger, you are the first on my list, so you're coming in first.
Okay. David will show up dressed in his finest flannel shirt and pair of jeans. And he'll just kind of walk
Dashing
in.
image of the Primogen right there. These are my Levi's.
Okay,
I said you're cutting a dashing image of the Primogen right there with "These are my Levi's."
Yep. He'll just kind of walk in and go through the usual pleasantries with the keeper and whatnot, and then just kind of find a spot near the wall and lean up against it.
All right. Next up is Grog. Welcome back. Does Grog exist? Grog. Let's go with a hard no. Spud gun. Finger guns.
There you go. Alright, so yeah, Spud gun will just, assuming that he's been informed of this place ahead of time. Question, is the Baron here?
He's not here currently, but he will be making an appearance.
Yeah, so Spudgun's probably going to just wait for the Baron to show up. Then he'll probably go in with him.
Okay, cool. In that case, Nathan, you're up next.
Okay, Samuel Hood arrives wearing the standard issue Ventry Parasite. Gives appropriate nods to those of station and finds an appropriate seat in the room around a comfortable table.
All right, striding past Spudgun into the room, you will see this woman. Her eyes are indeed as striking as they appear. She has she has a very interesting gait in the sense that she always walks favoring her. She walks in a very pointed way, always angling her body ever so slightly to the left. It's what they call a fencer's gait. So someone who does a lot of, shall we say, rhythmic sword fighting tends to adapt. She's smoking a cigarette before she discards it with a contemptuous flick, just before she pushes the door in, and will stride inside. I believe Tiger has in fact met this woman. I believe he's the only one here who has.
Yeah, David will just kind of give her a respectful nod and stay the fuck out of her way.
Completely in I give zero fucks. She lights up another cigarette in here. She is going to assume the smoke alarms have been turned off in order to host the Prince's Elysium. She counts to 3. Turns out that they have. Excellent. Before she continues to smoke. She will then make her way over to David, kind of placing her hand on her hip, looking him up and down, and she'll say, "Well, I see that you take the dressing for Elysium almost as seriously as I do." For the record, she is dressed in a long red trench coat. She is likewise dressed in black jeans and a t-shirt, apparently not giving a fuck.
I go with what I got. And this is comfy. You never know when stuff's gonna happen. Not that I hope anything's gonna happen, of course.
No, 10 out of 10 can recommend. I hope that you're well, Mr. Morris. Do you smoke? She'll flick open a pack of cigarettes.
He'll politely take one.
She will boop it with the top of her finger and light it. Like,
thank you.
You're welcome. What can I say? When it is that you're inducted into the mysteries and higher secrets of blood magic, at least it means you can light your own cigarettes.
Or again, that's one use for it. I'm sure there are plenty others.
So, this is nice building. Yes, I can see. Is bar? Is there a bar there?
I believe so. He'll kind of look around. Is there a bar?
There is a bar.
Okay, yeah, he'll point it out to her.
Do you drink?
I haven't drank in quite a while, honestly.
Would you like to?
I think I'm fine for now, but I appreciate the offer.
Niet. Do you still have ability to drink?
Oh, no.
Would you like to?
He'll actually think on that one.
At least briefly.
You know, it's been a hot minute. I reckon I would, if it ain't too much trouble.
I've often found it is terrible shame to drink alone, so just whiskey. She will say. She hands you a small, basically it looks like she takes it out of the folds of her robe and she says, "Don't worry, people can bitch, whinge, and moan about the traditions of this or the nature of that, but you know, special perks, shall we say. Take this," she says as she hands you a stick. It's literally just a baton you would use to conduct an orchestra.
Yeah.
It's about that long and about relatively thin. It's covered in weird sigils all over it, like that are etched into the wood and have kind of been painted red. You can't really tell if it's been with blood or with something else. She just says, "Snip that."
He'll kind of take a cautious sniff of it.
It has a tang of blood to it. You can tell that those little cuts in it were indeed painted with dried vitae. But she said to break it, so it's up to you whether you do or not.
Okay, he'll break it.
Good. Now we drink. You don't really feel different.
And she says we drink, then we drink.
This is how that works. She will walk into the bar. The barman is a ghoul, for the record. He's one of the only ghouls who is allowed into this space. The space is generally reserved for vampires. Ghouls have to stay out in the main foyer of the hotel, of the theater. But obviously, vampires are allowed in to the inner sanctum. But there were one or two exceptions, like the bartender, for example. She will sit down on a stool next to David. She'll kind of kick the stool out for him, and she will say, "Vodka. Make sure that it's neat and make sure that it's decent. I swear that if it goes down roughly, needless to say, I'll put you through that window roughly. I take it we understand one another." There's a look of before the man proceeds to shakingly remove a bottle from behind him on the shelf, place it down with two shot glasses, one in front of her and one in front of David. See, it's good when you can have that atmosphere of terror that you get in my particular career.
I believe it.
She will pour 2 measures of vodka into the shot glasses, like letting it pour over the top before she'll raise her glass. Na zdrowie.
Yeah, what you said. He'll kind of raise his shot glass in a toast.
She pounds back the shot.
David will as well.
Yeah, you don't immediately vomit it back up. The only other kindred in the room currently is the good admiral. So she'll turn and she'll say, "Do you drink, sir? I don't know your name, but you seem a respectable sort. So one should never leave one out of revelry when one is indeed being revelrous, I suppose. Maybe."
Sadly, no. As the saying goes, I never drink wine.
Well, what can one say? At least you appear to have excellent taste when it comes to matters of visual aesthetic. Where are my absolute terrible manners? I, of course, know Mr. David Morris. That is your name, David Morris. But I don't believe I've had the pleasure of meeting you, sir.
Nods. Indeed, lady. I be Samuel Hood.
A pleasure to meet you, Mr. Hood. My name is Katrin Kurtisov. If you'd like to roll me intelligence kindred lore. Difficulty... What difficulty did I give you to know her, Tiger? Because it was quite high.
I think it was 8 or 9.
Yeah, it was 9, I think. If you want to roll me kindred lore difficulty 9, you can.
Okay. Checking the sheet. Oh. Botch. No idea.
Oh my. Who would
Clearly, no one of any importance.
clearly nobody of any importance? Yeah. No, not just that. Clearly a caitiff of no importance. Have fun. Because it was a failure, it would have been no one of importance, but she's clearly a caitiff.
Oh, I assume I've noticed a blatant display of like strange power earlier.
Not really. It was outside a door. It was down a corridor. So,
sorry. Okay, fine. That was in the room. Fine. Yeah.
But yeah, no, Grog, if you'd like to enter the Elysium, you can do so now. If you're there.
Yeah. So, where does the Nosferatu usually come in at?
Through the front door, like everyone else.
Okay, so there isn't like a spot in the back or something that connects to the sewer.
No.
All right. Well, Alfred comes in, sniffing the air, looking around, before finding himself a seat and turning it around and sitting in it. Just kind of quietly watching and listening to what's going on.
Okay. But needless to say, I met what is his name? I met Prince Train. That is his name. Rather charming fellow in the I am carved entirely from a block of ice kind of way. She pours another shot for both herself and for David. She then slams it back. Needless to say, your domain is a very interesting place. What with all of the troubles that it has faced. But you stand, and I suppose that there's value and merit to that.
Aye, this is a curious island with a long and troubled history.
However, it is also an important nexus place. Nowhere do more lines converge than they do here, Mr. Hood. Or do you prefer Admiral Hood?
Oh, his eyebrow. Either will suffice. It has been a long time, but it is tradition for military titles to endure after death.
Therein raising the question as to the nature of death, but that is neither here nor there, I assure you. But no, this is a peculiar place, but as I said, oftentimes the most powerful of places are themselves inherently the most peculiar. My. No one appears very interested in conversation.
Mr. Silas taught me to listen more than I speak.
Who the fuck is that?
Good question.
I don't know you, sir. Will you take a drink with us, perhaps? She says, looking at Alfred.
Sure. And he'll turn the seat back around and everyone will notice that instead of like human fingernails, he has what look like bear claws coming out of his hands. He's rather hairy, and I believe, his eyes are yellow like a bear's as he walks up to the bar where they're drinking.
A shot is poured for him on the table.
I'm gonna smell it. Does it smell like it has any vitae in it?
Nope.
All right, then I'll drink it.
Do you have the eat fruit merit?
No.
Okay.
So I should want to vomit up in about an hour.
Mm-hmm. But she'll say, unfortunately, my duty takes me to many such interesting places, but then again, I don't necessarily mind the opportunity to meet new people. For example, Mr. Morris here. I like Mr. Morris. He's not assuming. He doesn't put on airs or presumptions.
He'll just kind of shrug and slam back his shot.
Needless to say, when I told Prince Thrain that in the name of the Ivory Tower I was requisitioning his private plane, he was slightly put out. I believe the phrase used was, I would be most pleased if you did not crash it.
Hey, Mr. Morris, I hear congratulations are in order.
He'll say, oh yeah, I got promoted, didn't I? It's pretty good.
Oh, and for good work, I hear.
Yeah, it was a group effort. Can't claim all the credit.
Ah. Perhaps you'd like to share some highlights from the little adventure.
Well, what is what is her name again, Evan? I'm sorry.
Catherine Curtisoff.
I met Miss Curtisoff here. Killed something. I don't know. Reckon it was kind of snaky, so I'm assuming some kind of setite. But you never fucking know what this is about. What's his name? Malachi. Malachi? Yeah, Malachi. He almost died, but he didn't, so that's good.
This was the one who decided to walk out and issue me a bow for no apparent reason in the middle of a combat situation, huh?
No, that's yeah, that's him. I was thinking Dmitri. I always get confused with them Russian names. No, Malachi didn't fare too hot either, from what I remember.
What was he? Was he unlucky or?
I mean, he made it out of there, but when you walk into a combat situation under Obfuscate, and then you just walk out of Obfuscate in the middle of the combat situation, and you're not exactly known for being, a particularly tough individual, things tend to go pretty poorly.
Wow, that's a valuable lesson he's learned, hopefully.
I should hope so. He seems like a smart guy. I don't think he'll make the same mistake again.
One can only hope, after all. When it comes to combat, the weakest member of the team is often the one that causes the cards to fall.
You ain't wrong. No. I think we all kind of learned something that night. Yeah, that's what it is.
We are going to zoom outside for a moment as Spudgun, you are standing outside, yes?
Yes, he is.
All right. You'll hear a voice from behind you say, well, I thought I knew all of the faces in the domain, but apparently I don't.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah?
Aye. You always miss one person, don't you?
My apologies. Who are you, sir?
I'm with the Baron. I was going to be escorting him in when he showed up. Turns out I'm early.
The personage in question, he's not tall at all. He's only about 5'3". He extends a hand to you.
Yeah, bro?
I have a question.
Yes?
Spudgun was in a very specific scene in a very specific park when you were trying to kill a very specific individual, weren't you?
I mean, there were a lot of parks.
When you tried to kill the then Sheriff Hennessy.
Which one's Hennessy again?
The Nosferatu who had Gangrel commit suicide to cover his escape.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Which scene with
Spotting that.
Ian's character?
So he extends his hand to you.
Hello, lad.
Do you take?
He'll extend out and he'll say, "What's your name, brah?"
He takes the hand. Oh, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Or should I say, a pleasure to see you again. My name is Vincent Hennessy. At which point, I'm not going to roll damage. This is more so for roleplay. He clenches the hand with all 7 dots of his potence. So he is crushing your hand as he shakes it. And he'll say, and I'm hoping, with the most fervent hope that I can muster, that you've seen the error of your ways.
We aim to displease, but sometimes we have to take a back seat. You're a lot better than the other one.
I beg your pardon?
Sorry, did you not hear me?
You said something about the other one. I didn't quite hear the end of it.
He just said you're a lot better than the other one, and that's it.
Oh, they're the same person.
No.
Oh.
You're referring to the same person.
Oh. Okay. He will say, so, I'm willing to let bygones be bygones. I'm willing to let you stay here in this little city of ours on probation because I'm a generous sort, and I do fervently believe in people finding their way back from incorrect paths onto the correct ones. You quite understand what I mean, I assume.
Oh, you won't see this face doing anything untoward.
No, of that I have absolutely no doubt. So, wonderful. We're now all friends again. He lets go of the hand, which is kind of now a motley collection of broken bones. I'll just say it's maybe 2 blood to heal the hand, so it's functioning again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
I didn't do my hunting roll. Sorry about that.
Oh yeah, if people want to do hunting rolls, chat is a thing. If people need to see what their dice pools are for hunting, they are written on the forum. If you have heard, you get 5 dice of blood base plus 1 additional dice for each dot of herd. So that means you started a total of 9 blood grog before hunting.
All right. That's going to be like 9 dice.
Huh?
So that's going to be like 9 dice for me, I believe. Hold on.
9 dice of what?
For my hunting roll, I'm looking.
Well, are you using a physical hunting roll or are you using a social hunting roll?
Physical.
So, what are you rolling?
Dexterity, athletics. And I'm going to basically jump a hobo.
Yeah, that's dexterity brawl there.
Same dice pool.
That's fine then. Are you spending blood to decrease your difficulty?
If I spend blood for celerity, does that decrease the difficulty, or is it just?
Yeah, decrease the difficulty by -2.
Okay.
Because it starts off difficulty 9, so it'd be 9 minus 2, making it 7, minus any dots of domain you have, but I don't believe you have domain. So
I don't believe. No, I just have a haven.
cool. So yeah, difficulty 7 hunting roll.
Oh. 10. 1, 2. That's 2 successes. I got 2 successes. That means that I can grab some bum off the street.
Cool. So that means you have a total of 10 blood for the scene because you spent 1 to activate your celerity from your total of 9. So, but it means you start with a total of 10. There you go.
I've got to do another hunting roll so that I don't frenzy.
What?
When you're at half or below blood, you have a chance.
No, that is not how any of that works.
Okay.
It needs to be a number below your self-control.
Ah, okay.
Owen, does enchanting voice work on hunting?
No.
Okay. Does natural leader work on hunting?
I'm going to say that merits do. If I can, I don't want to write an entire section on merits affecting hunting because that will take me forever and a day. So, short answer, no.
Okay.
It does mean, though, as said, if you do the social hunting role, do you have has Hood actually requested and been granted domain?
Oddly, no, I don't have domain on my character sheet.
I recommend one of the things that the prince will be doing this evening is you may ask for domain.
Okay.
Yay! I need it.
If he wants to give me one, he can give me one. That's like, but yes. Right, okay. Does my special new combi power, Impeccable Manners, which lowers difficulty on etiquette rolls or persuasion rolls, count for hunting?
What?
Well, I have a special new combi discipline that lowers my difficulty on etiquette rolls.
I'm gonna say it. Okay, I'm gonna say it will work in tandem with the discipline that we've already posted. So if you post for the disciplines, or if you spend for the disciplines as they are denoted, you can role play it however you want, but it's not going to give you additional benefits.
Oh, okay, but you've got to use one of the bonuses, can't you?
Yeah, you can use whichever bonus you like.
Fine. Okay, well, I'll do some manipulation plus leadership type hunting then.
Cool.
Does the speciality count?
Yes, it does.
That's something at least, right? So my diff is 8 because I have presence, but I'm venturing.
Yeah, I was going to say I made the Ventures feeding a little bit more difficult. I felt that kind of reflected their clan flaw.
Entirely fair. I mean, 10 is high, but yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3 boosts the speciality. So I have 5 plus the 3 plus my herd.
Yep. So keep a track of your total blood.
Yeah.
Francis, Chris, if you just want to roll in your total blood before we continue going.
Okay. How much domain did I have?
I think I gave you 3.
Okay. All right. Let me just make my way to rolls real quick, and I'm going to make a probably a appearance subterfuge check for seduction because I am fabulous.
Fabulous.
I am beautiful. And yeah, I will just roll 7 dice. I have a bunch of that as well, I think. Remain free, that lowers diff by 3, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because I think. Oh, but I gain +1 because of my floor. No, spend blood to trigger my power and make it easier.
Hooray!
Hooray! I get 4 successes, so I gain 3 blood from that, and I have that many herd. How much blood do we start off with as base?
5.
5. So okay, I'm at 10.
Okay. So
I'm at 11. Sorry.
Yeah. With that for the record, just to kind of continue on the scene, with that, Jason, the seneschal, will flick his hand back. He'll flick his wrist, and he will walk into the Elysium. Francis, you arrive at the Elysium proper.
Francis is wearing high society fashion, or high fashion, very much catwalk stuff.
You will find most of the individuals gathered in the bar, which is just off the main stage area, which is generally where the prince actually takes petitioners. So currently there is Samuel Hood, there is David Morrison, there is Alfred Montbank, and there is a woman who you've never met. So Alfred Montbank, David Morrison, this woman appear to be drinking shots of vodka.
Okay, well, yeah, Francis will just enter and will just mingle with the people he knows first. So he'll probably end up gravitating towards Admiral Hood, the Primogen of Clan Venture.
Good evening, Sheriff Francis. Good to see you looking well.
Likewise, Primogen. It's good to see you.
Oh, excuse one moment. You are Sheriff Francis Beaumont, huh?
That I am. I do not believe you've been introduced.
No, we would not have been. However, Prince Thrain made it clear that you are to be, how was it he phrased it? Begrudgingly at my service. Allow me to introduce myself properly, with proper etc. My name is Katerina Kurtisov, Crimson Alistair of the Ivory Tower.
In which case, it is a distinct honor and pleasure.
At which point, Samuel has a mental facepalm. thinking it was a random case of off the street. Oh well, c'est la vie. Life goes on. Long live rock and so forth.
Yay, Camarilla friends.
Camarilla friends. I have, how would you say, whiskey? Do you drink, Sheriff?
Rarely now, it's just been many years.
She says exactly the same as she said to David. Would you like to?
There's a moment of like, from Francis, and says, I believe I would, yes.
She will reach into her pocket and she will remove it almost looks like, as I described it earlier, it almost looks like a baton you would use to conduct a choir, but slightly shorter. It's a long piece of wood that's been covered in arcane sigils and sigillium that, as you look them over, appear to have been painted on in red. They've been carved in and then gone over in a red ink. Maybe you become imminently aware that it's blood as you hold it in your hand. She'll simply say, "Snap that, please."
She says, "Snap that."
As in, snap it in two.
He will do so.
Okay. People want to make me a perception awareness roll. They can.
Sure, I will. I have enough full specs to warrant every perception awareness roll.
It's standard diff minus your godlike levels of aspect.
Oh god, what's the minimum difficulty of the roll?
Difficulty 6. So.
Oh no, I'm saying what's the minimum difficulty it can go to?
Oh, the minimum difficulty is 3. The minimum difficulty
Okay.
is 3.
Good. I approve. I get 6 successes.
When you snap it, there is definitely a release of some kind of power from that has been contained within the stick proper. She will then pour you a shot and thrust it towards you.
Thank you. He will down it.
Yeah. Needless to say, as I said, I should probably give the actual other introduction. I am also, of course, a member of Clan and House Termier at your service.
So what did she say?
She said she is also a member of Clan and House Tremere at your service.
Yeah, figured. Of course. It's a pleasure to meet one of the pillars of the Camarilla.
So, I am unsure. Are you gentlemen abundantly aware as to exactly why I am here?
Negative.
It has not been stated to me, but I am very certain as to why. I believe the figure you're looking for would be the one known as Isha, yes?
Ishar the Black, Ishar the Firstborn Son. He has a lot of names.
They generally do.
Needless to say, I am chasing a very dangerous man, whom it has been seen fit for me to pursue personally. But I'm curious. I contemplate. I assume that none of you have had any interaction with this and any knowing interaction with this entity whatsoever. No?
Doesn't sound familiar.
Have I ever?
No.
Okay, then no.
I am aware of... Oh, sorry.
Oh, you continue.
I am aware of those that have, I believe. I'm aware that he has been interacting with various other supernaturals in the city, and I know that there is a connection between him and Miss Stevenson. I believe Miss Stevenson may have unknowingly interacted with him in some way, or at the very least investigated his ritual site.
That is the same Emily Stevenson who was present with Mikhail Ivanov, an undisclosed member of Clan Giovanni, and a man named, she looks through her notebook, Spudgun. What the fuck kind of name is that?
I don't know. It sounds juvenile. I don't really care for it, but it's not irrelevant, I suppose.
But, needless to say, yes, I am led to understand that there was some kind of disruption to his ritual site, and that is incredibly dangerous. I don't know exactly what kind of working he has undertaken, but considering his past history, I would not assume it to be favorable.
From what I have learned from other supernaturals that have seen the issue severe enough that they have sought us out in particular, and each other, he is supposedly attempting to undo various... My apologies for my ignorance in how I phrase this. Various seals upon reality which would allow some sort of outside entity that exists along the fringes of creation, some sort of anti-life, anti-matter substance or realm, as it were, to pour in and effectively destroy the world or unmake it. His rituals were disassembled by one of the magi, which apparently drew his attention to him, and he approached him personally. Also did something strange to his body to incapacitate him during that time. I believe he said he turned his legs to clouds.
Do you happen to know the name of this individual?
Did Theodos actually give his name?
Everyone did the introduction handshake phase.
I'm not sure if he gave it to the vampire.
If he didn't, then he didn't. If he did, then he did.
I'm trying to remember if he did, because I know he introduced himself to the changelings. But I'm not sure if he introduced himself by name to the others, because he just couldn't be bothered. I can inquire further. It appears the very supernaturals seem to want to cooperate on this issue. I don't believe it would be a particular task for me to discover their identity.
Needless to say, as of 2 days ago, Clan Tremere have issued a bull stating that the former chantry of Lord Ishar, when he was still the Lord of Louisiana, is to be opened for the purposes of this investigation. With that in mind, I will be borrowing Prince Thrain's private plane in order to take a group of like-minded individuals in order to investigate the chantry proper. Anyone here is welcome to come with me if they wish to do so.
Yeah, all right.
As the prince has agreed, I am at your service.
Good. She kind of claps Francis on around the shoulder, and she'll say, "We shall be able to see the measure of the man, huh?"
Indeed. I'm only happy to prove myself.
All right. Quick yet somewhat important question, guys. Out of character question. Who actually has business with the prince, aka wishes to speak to him on a personal matter?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Okay. Anyone else?
Well, I tend not to waste his important court time.
I mean, if you want to ask him for domain, it is a time to do it.
Okay.
Do you want to ask him for domain?
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Cool. In that case, you will be informed that the prince is now receiving petitioners. He will. You will be asked to join him based upon your current status. So, in that case, status and rank that your clan is held in, ironically. So, in that case, Samuel, you will in fact be summoned in first.
Okay. Samuel will, excuse me, gentlemen, and make his way inside, into the next room. He'll take a moment. He'll formally bow as one would approaching a monarch in his time.
I have to describe. Basically, you'll enter the main auditorium room, like where the stage is set.
Nice.
There are a number of individuals seated in chairs. Some of them are waiting to. For the record, I should point out, you guys are entirely able to go and sit in the presence room if you want, in the chairs that line the room. But it's just that I assume that people want to have conversation. You can't talk while the prince is talking. So the whatchamacallit, the throne is set in the center of the stage. The prince is sitting in it. He looked quite comfortable. The seneschal is standing off to his left-hand side. The harpy is sitting on the front of the stage with the large leather-bound book in his lap as he's scribbling away in it. There are a number of armed Cainites in here that are kind of two are on each side of the stage, both stage left and stage right. Then there are a number of them who are standing at the doors of both the balcony and the main room that goes out into the foyer. The prince will gesture for Samuel to step forward.
Very good. Samuel will step forward, formally bow in the now antiquated fashion.
He pens his fingers together and kind of looks down at you.
Your Majesty, I hope my recent reports and actions have been of pleasing service to you. I respect.
He raises his finger to silence you mid-sentence, and he will say, "Your reports have been interesting in terms of what it is that they've shown. And you seem to be one of the only individuals in the city who opts and deigns to understand the importance of keeping me apprised of certain situations." His eyes flick around the room very slowly. Indicate you can see some people kind of shuffling in their seats, and he will say, "It has not, I assure you, been forgotten." You get the distinct impression he wished to make a statement,
Okay.
but he will gesture for you to continue.
Oh, okay. On the gesture, so that I might have more hours in the night to better serve your Majesty, I respectfully request an appropriate domain to aid in my sustenance. I would seek to retain my professional interest in the area of the Docklands.
It has been agreed that Clan Giovanni will have large elements of the Docklands given to them by a prior agreement for their own hunting needs. Considering how distasteful oftentimes their hunting is, it was deemed necessary that it be out of sight and out of mind. However, with this in mind, I will bestow upon you the domain of Hoeth, located not far from the city docks and with its own proud and long naval tradition. I assume this is acceptable.
Oh, more than acceptable, Your Majesty. I'm most grateful for your recognition.
Ordinarily, I would ask some semblance of boon for this benefice. However, you have done the domain a service, and so it is you are granted this gratis in thanks for your service.
Not.
Is that all that you require?
It is, Your Majesty. My thanks. And I'll,
in that case, you may withdraw.
Appropriately withdraw, facing him as I back away.
Okay. Next is David. David Morris, because you're a primogen, so you have higher status.
David will walk in and wait to be addressed as is proper.
You will get a very slight hand gesture kind of beckoning you forward.
David will walk forward and stop where he stopped the last time he came and talked to the prince.
Cool. He will look down at you from his chair and he will say, Primogen Morris, how may I be of assistance to you?
I got two things that I've come to speak to you about. One, I still owe you a boon, and I'd rather get that cleared sooner rather than later. So if you got any work you need me to do let me know. For the second, I would like to request a bit of domain for myself and my herd, as it were.
Is there any domain in particular that you would wish, or any area that you would wish in particular?
Yeah, a nice little spot out in the woods would be nice. A little out of the way.
In that case, we shall hereby grant you the domain of the town of Tala, located on the southern edge and the tip of the city of our domain. I am led to understand it abuts the wilderness, and therein you may also take sustenance. Is that acceptable to you?
It is very much appreciated, my prince.
Seemingly, and also due to your recent service, we shall also not demand of you a boon. However, when it comes to payment of the boon owed, we shall contemplate what it is that might be granted or requested of you in that matter, and shall return to you with an answer post haste.
At your leisure, my prince.
Is that all that you require of us, Mr. Morris?
Yes, sir.
You may withdraw.
He'll give a polite bow and head out.
Cool. And just to check, Francis had nothing he needed urgently new?
No. Everything that he would wish to discuss could be dealt with people other than the prince, so.
Okay. And in that case, indeed, good old Alfred Montebank.
Yes, excellent. I mean, nothing.
All right, Alfred, you got this. I have faith in you. Good God, it's going to end in a weird... Okay, so as you step into the room, Alfred, please make me an intelligence... an intelligence etiquette check.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, really.
Oh, wait, no, I've got dice on this. I've got a dice pool.
He actually has a dice pool, guys. He might not have.
I mean, kind of, sort of. I got 4 dice. It's better than the kick in the dick.
Roll those bones.
Oh God, no!
Oh God!
4, 5, 3, 2.
Yikes.
I did not botch, but I did not pass.
If you botched, you'd have walked in there, walked up to the appointed place, and done crotch thrusts in the prince's general direction.
I mean, but maybe he likes that from someone as manly and hairy as I.
All right, so you walk up and you just stand there. What do you say? How do you...
I am Alfred Montebank, adopted of Clan Nosferatu.
The seneschal looks down at you, and you can kind of see he places his thumb and his forefinger to his masked nose as he kind of just shakes his head from side to side, like, "Oh God, why me? What is your clan of birth and origin?"
Gangrel, before they left the Camarilla.
They haven't left the Camarilla.
Well, damn it. Oops.
Well, they did where I lived.
They did when I was alive, damn it. They might have come back, but you know, Back in my day.
Back in my day, we were just good old-fashioned otakus.
That sweet, sweet otakus.
Clearly, when he said left, he meant wandered off for a bit.
What was that, sorry?
Clearly, when he said left, he meant wandered off for a bit.
And did they never teach you, you bedraggled, fetid creature, how to act in public court? You do not even bow before my throne.
I'm not actually sure how to answer that. I think the answer is no, though. He looks like they're right at the prince and shakes his hand like, no, they didn't.
Tiger, you're about to be frog marched back into the room.
Yikes.
Literally, the very large Nosferatu, who generally serves as the doorman, will tap you on the shoulder and he will say, "The prince has requested your presence." He will even add the phrase, "We appear to have another one."
David, makes sure he's out of eyesight of the prince before letting out a very deep sigh and walking in.
You will see the... Actually, yeah, you know what? He is totally that asshole because he's pissed now. Because people not bowing in front of him. He's like, I need to look up the actual ability he's going to use.
Yikes.
If it helps, Grog, thank you. I haven't got to roll this guy's dice yet.
No, I don't wanna.
You gotta learn.
Silas loves me. I said, no, I don't wanna. Mr. Silas loves me.
Mr. Silas can love you all the way he wants. From Elwad, for all I fucking care. Wait, I can't say that, or Justin will show up and punch me.
Yes, he will, in fact.
Okay. So, Grog. Yeah, let me just see which one he's going to use.
Hopefully it's not the one that has its difficulty based on your humanity. I pray to God. Because that'll be difficulty 0.
What is your character's current willpower?
6.
Cool. -2 for enchanting voice, because you know what? If you don't fucking min-max that combo, you're playing Dominate wrong. He will simply look down at Alfred.
I assume that he is 8th generation or lower, correct?
He is 6th.
Okay.
So yeah, he will look at Alfred and he will simply say, "On your knees."
And Alfred falls to his knees and looks around like, what? How'd I get here?
He will gesture at David as he comes in. He says, "Why is it that I am seeing, with increasing regularity, Primogen, your clan not knowing how it is to show proper due and deferential respect?"
I reckon it's because I only got the position recently. I'll be making plenty of efforts to re-educate the rest of them. You have my word.
Good. Until such time, I wish this filth removed from my sight, and I consider you to be responsible for teaching him how it is to act in polite society.
Understood.
You, creature, what is your name again? Montebank, yes.
He'll kind of like David's gonna.
Or was that a was that a question? Because
Yes, your name was Montebank, yes?
oh, okay. I didn't know if that was supposed to be a question or not. Yes, your and he thinks for a second. Grace?
You will see the arm of the throne crack under his hand ever so slightly, because that's the wrong term.
I failed the etiquette roll.
I know, you're playing it up, I understand. It's just, I'm just describing the reaction because it's funny. It's like, oh god, why was he making this worse? He's making it worse! But he will say, what is it that you have dragged yourself, still smelling of the charnel pit, that place of offal and filth you crawled from to ask me, Montebank?
I am living in this city now and came to present myself as I'm supposed to.
Ah, very well then. We shall be merciful. We shall accept your presentation. Is that all you came here for, Montebank?
I'm supposed to say that I will be living in the sewers with Clan Nosferatu if you have need to find me.
You see the seneschal kind of put up his hand and he goes, we immediately flick over to the seneschal. I was, what? Who said this? Where was I?
I'm Clan Nosferatu. We live in the sewers.
The prince looks down at Montebank and says, "So what?" Sorry, the seneschal looks down at Montebank and he says, "So what you're telling me is that we have a gangrel. With the mindset of a Malkavian who claims he's a Nosferatu."
I was adopted by Clan Nosferatu.
The seneschal looks down at David, and once again, he has his thumb and his forefinger connected to the bridge of his nose. And he just says, "Right, well, Primogen, it looks as if we have to divide the ceremonial baby." He'll say, gesturing down at the kneeling mass of fur. "Do you want him, or do I take him?"
David will actually think for a second. I don't mind teaching him, especially since he does seem to be, or he claims to have originated from Clan Gangrel, correct? But
there's also no way to validate this adoption, Your Highness.
Wait, I'm supposed to talk.
Yeah, he'll just kind of like lightly tap Montebank with his foot, like not enough to hurt. Obviously, he's like, "Eh, probably should cut out." Like I said, I don't mind teaching him, but if he doesn't want to learn from me, well, you can't really drag a horse to water and make it drink. You know what I mean?
Oh, I assure you, you can. You just need to use the proper leverage.
A fair point. But you get what I'm saying.
Valid. Gang, how is it that you smell worse than Nosferatu? Why is this my fate? Oh, dark moon above us. Montebank, which one would you rather go with?
I was adopted into Clan Nosferatu after helping the Primogen in another city. And I had no clan to claim as my own. I will, out of respect for him, stay with Clan Nosferatu.
Very well. If there is an answer to this question, it's called let Dr. Brightman handle it. Clan Nosferatu is happy to vouch for him, Your Highness. I hate my life. I hate my life. Nothing. It's all fine.
If the sheriff wouldn't get bitch slapped for laughing right now, he would be.
Potent 7 bitch slap. What could possibly go wrong?
He's just looking on in abject astonishment and amazement at this whole affair. He's equal parts horrified yet entertained.
Very well. You will get off the floor, Montebank. You will go into the bar. At which point, when I am done with my official duties, you and I are going to go into the sewers together, and we are going to have a jolly old time.
As you say, so shall it be.
As you say, so shall it be, Seneschal.
Seneschal.
There we go. It can be taught to speak. Now get out of my sight.
He just nods, and I forgot to say this before. He does not have an ounce of humanity in him. Everyone can sense that. As he walks out.
You can see the Seneschal. He just kind of he leans against the throne. He just, once again, he has his thumb and his forefinger to the bridge of his masked nose. Like there is a deep and audible sigh, like, and one more for good measure. But yes. So, does anyone else have any other business they wish to do? Anything else they wish to pursue? Anything else that needs my attention?
I got nothing.
Okay. Cool. In that case, I think that's a good place to call it quits, as the Seneschal has a nervous breakdown with life. So, or on life, as the case may be. So, thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another Scene in Darkness in Dublin. Have a pleasant evening.